Today we got a beef that needs to be cooked. Kind of, right? We made a video where we talked about why certain Muslims are not making hijrah. We got a bunch of comments, and I don't want to go through all of them, but there was one comment that was kind of standing out and kind of proves the point of the video and proves the point on why we're even talking about this. And this is I don't know why, but the subject of making hijrah and talking about it is something that stirs up a lot of emotions, makes a lot of people angry, make a lot of people, call us out or curse us or whatever, right? Even though it's like an Islamic obligation. But anyways, we don't have to go into that. I want to go straight into the juicy comment. So we got a comment from here, the real Jan, and he said, what are you talking about in terms of like the reasons why certain Muslims are not making hijrah? And if you want to know what the reason were, you can go check that video out. But he continued, most people haven't done it because they don't have the money. That's simple. And mashallah, we had another, seriously not a duck commenting here. A little bit unsure if it is a duck or not. It's kind of suspicious, but it is a smart duck, nevertheless, if it is a duck. And they said, this isn't true. The cost of living in the West is much higher, etc. And I wanted to go through this second comment he made and kind of break it down, because I think the problem here is there's so many misconceptions. I'm not saying that there is not a reality there that, talking about finances and money when you want to make hijrah. But, we need to differentiate between reality and making excuses, and there's a thin line. Sometimes you use a reality to make an excuse so that you are you kind of free yourself from accountability and responsibility. Let's go through the comment and break it down. So he said, the real Jan, you move to a cheaper country, your wages decrease. Okay, point number one. Unless you have one of the quickly decreasing remote jobs left. Point number two. And the vast majority of people don't. So let's assume you magically eliminate your bills in the West and go through the expensive process to move. Point three, which if you don't want to get taxed by the US means giving up your citizenship, then what you're stuck in a Muslim country making wages equivalent to the people there. Makes no sense. You do your hijrah, then you return to where you make your money. Point four. Cool. Let's break it down. So the first thing is that most people haven't done it because they don't have the money. And I would say, I would argue for the opposite, right? So look at it, let's talk about statistics here, because there are a lot of claims, but not a lot of things backing it up, right? So there are approximately, I was checking this when I was making the video, obviously depending on which study or whatever you look at, but this was where the numbers I found. If you want to correct me, feel free. 1.5 billion freelancers worldwide. That's a lot of people, right? And a freelancer is basically someone that is not necessarily tied to the location, at least not an employer, right? So they are freelancing, meaning they are self-employed usually. And we got looking at the US, because I'm guessing this comment, the person is from the US. He said that 64 million Americans freelance. And that's 40% of the workforce. And it's really, really interesting. And this is projected to hit 90 million by 2028, which is in a few years, right? So it's growing rapidly. So looking at it a remote incomes, they do exist. You don't even have to be a freelancer, by the way. There are a bunch of companies that move their workforce abroad. Maybe because wages are cheaper to pay them or whatever, right? Or they need to have a branch in another country. I know several, personally, right? That have done so. So it's not like you have to have a remote job, and you can still, usually what happens is even if they pay you less, they're gonna still have to abide by company policy. So if you work in a great company, chances are you're gonna get a really good salary compared to the locals. Freelancing is just the way many people are solving the money problems. And today in a digitalized world, a lot of the freelance is done online, right? That's why, you got these sites like Upwork or Fiverr. Why? Because it's an arbitrage. You have a product or a service that would normally be very expensive in an area, but you can offer it for less because the area or your geographic location allows you to, price your product or service cheaper than your competitors, but still make a lot of money because the difference in currency. Now, the second point he mentioned, if you move to a cheaper country, your wages decrease. Okay, so look at the statistics. The statistics. 22% of U.S. workers are now fully remote. Okay, so if you got 40% of the workforce freelancing, half of that workforce is remote, right? And remote job postings are just increasing. It was plus 10% up to 13% in 2 years. Hybrid jobs, like you work some days in the office, some days not, right? Increased a lot, because of the pandemic, right? It changed a lot of things. Now, the point here is wages drop if you take a local job. That's it, okay? But if you have a remote job, this will let you earn Western pay anywhere. And this is what a lot of people are already doing. So it's not like weird. Like I said, you got Upwork, Fiverr, and probably a bunch of other stuff out there. Now, he said also a very interesting thing. Unless you have one of the quickly decreasing remote jobs left. I don't know where he got this from because this makes no sense. Remote jobs are growing rapidly. Like coaching jobs, just like coaches, you've seen it popping up everywhere. Seen in the crazy growth over the years. Creative freelancers, like people were wanting or needing help with editing, needing help with writing or whatever. And even with the AI, like clients here wants human work. Like I saw a creator or like a business guy, and he said he predicted that in the future, they are gonna pay a premium for authentic human work. There's gonna be premium because everyone's gonna use AI. So that's just gonna be the normal thing, right? But it's like, how do you say it? Like cars. You got these new amazing electric cars, but there's still a huge market for like these older models, like very old models, right? Some can go like insanely expensive. And he said that like his prediction is going to be the same with human production, or like humans producing something. That's very interesting. I don't know if it's going to be true. We'll see, right? If you want to go in AI, I think everyone should learn, definitely. This is obviously growing. So it's not like high skill online niches are expanding. They're not disappearing. Like nothing shows that. Makes no sense. And also another here, like you start making wages equivalent to the people there. Looking at it, again, the Americans, like, and like I'm sure like these numbers are pretty much the same across the Western hemisphere, like Europe, the US and stuff like that. So we got 18 million Americans being digital nomads. So it means like they are working remotely, digitally, right? And this is a 131% increase in 2019. And even like if you look at the different countries today, 66 countries now offer digital nomad visas. And like even where I live in the UAE, they have been in the forefront of like issuing visas for these particular people. Like that is because I live there, I know a little bit more. Surely there are other countries like this, but I know that in the Gulf, they are very, very ahead far ahead from compared to the Western world when it comes to AI, when it comes to remote work, when it comes to this new way of working. Like it's going to be a huge shift, and the people who are going to be fall behind are people like this, who, again, like I said, there is a reality, but you use it as an excuse for not changing. It's like you have a person, a Muslim, saying, "Hey, I'm too busy to lose weight. I have a family, so I don't have time to lose weight. I this and that." When those things should be the very reason for you to be in shape. Like, you cannot use your family as an excuse for being overweight. You should use your family as a reason to be in shape. Like, no matter your situation, you gotta do something. But an excuse can leave you paralyzed and hopeless, right? So I want to make these videos so you don't feel hopeless, right? Like, for example, if you live in Pakistan, right? The average cost of living I saw was like let's say $300, $400. This is like 85% cheaper than the US, right? So if you earn, $2,000 up to $10,000 a month, like you're making so much, bro. Like, can you imagine? It's like you can take care of your family and multiple other families. Like, imagine the good you can make, the goodness, how do you say it? Your provision, you can spread it to other people and other causes, right? And this is what we need. This is people always talking about, the Muslim countries underdeveloped and blah blah. Of course they are. First of all, colonialism. Okay, let's not shy away from that. And second of all, there's no real, probably more now, but there's no real investment being made. Everyone's thinking that the West is the perfect place and they're going there. Obviously, when you leave something, like when you leave your country behind, and I'm from Sweden, but a Muslim country is closer to me than Sweden in terms of belief. And I want to see the Muslim countries flourish. Who doesn't, right? So we need to start building it up from ground up, right? So make sure to not fall into the trap of making excuses. If anything I say, it provokes you, so be it. I don't care. To be honest, I could not care less. But maybe there's a reason why you feel that way. There's a reason why you feel, targeted. Maybe it is. Maybe you are targeted. Maybe I am targeting you with these videos. Shouldn't that be a wake-up call? Right? So when you're ready to wake up, feel free to join us in our free community. You can find the link in the description. We got a bunch of things coming and you don't want to miss that. It's going to make your hijrah so much easier, inshallah ta'ala. But until then, see you in the next video. Over now. Assalamu alaikum.